Hello and welcome to BrookesTV. I'm Layla Gorey.
And I'm Paris Ashworth.
The Oxford University Museum of Natural History has reopened after being closed for over a year. Milo Bouquet went to find out more.
Oxford University Museum of Natural History reopened its doors on Saturday after 14 months of closure. This is due to a vital £2 million project overseen by the museum director, Professor Paul Smith.
Welcome back to the Museum of Natural History.
To replace the Victorian glass roof that has been leaking since the building opened in 1861.
We're here today at the Museum of Natural History to talk to Paul Smith to find out more about the refurbishment straight from the horse's mouth.
It's been a pretty intensive programme to rectify a problem with the building that has existed since the building went up, actually. In that it was very experimental design. It's beautiful architecture, but it was experimental in 1860. The cast iron supports collapsed as the roof was going up, and although this glass covering had been used in railway sheds and things like that, it had never been used in a high art building, and the glass roof has leaked more or less since day one. The glass roof consists of 8,500 individual glass tiles, each of them about a half metre square, and all of those had to be taken off. Various things have been done in the past to try and improve the quality of them, or to repair them. So any previous treatments had to be taken off, they all had to be hand cleaned, and then 8,500 glass tiles were put back on.
The museum is one of the most popular university museums in the UK, with a staggering 600,000 visitors a year. The reopening was extremely popular, with a record 5,300 people visiting. We spoke to a few of the visitors to see what part of the museum impressed them most.
Favourite thing? Well, it's all of the dinosaur exhibition.
I think it's got to be one of the dinosaurs because they're just so massive, almost unbelievable to look at them.
Looking at all the dinosaur skeletons.
I'm very impressed by the number of people that are here, especially young people as well. You know, it's obviously attracted a lot of interest.
I love the fact that there's lots of exhibits that you can touch and get your hands on, so yeah, it's a great experience.
14 months may seem like a long time, but it's plain to see that the curators of the museum have not been bone idle. Milo Bouquet, BrookesTV.
Oxford's town centre is in danger of losing its charm.
Samuel Swinnerton took a look at how the current climate is impacting the high street.
Oxford shops are under threat now more than ever, with stores in and around Oxford closing down due to increased rent and other financial stress. Even the iconic covered market came under threats of closure last year. But with one of the UK's fastest growing populations, why is it that shops aren't able to stay afloat? The number of people shopping in Oxford fell 0.6% compared to a rise in out-of-town retail parks and shopping centres, boasting enormous rises of 5.7% and 2.4% respectively. It is believed that this is because this January we saw the largest amount of rainfall in almost 250 years, driving shoppers to seek shelter in larger shopping centres out of town. But of all the stores to close in Oxford, HMV has done so several times in the past few years. We spoke to someone to find out why.
Basically, the lease on the building is due, so the company wants to downsize the store and open up in another location, still within Oxford town centre. All the other HMV stores across the UK have done the same. The first one in the UK, on Oxford Street, London, has closed. I guess they're looking to cut costs after last year when the company went into administration.
Even though shops are closing left, right and centre, new ones are still managing to open. Plans for a £400 million redevelopment of the Westgate Shopping Centre have been made, with a meeting to discuss the proposals set for the 11th of March, which is open to the public at the Town Hall. However, the arrival of larger chain stores isn't all good news. Eva Bentley, owner of the vintage store Unicorn, stated that all the bigger shops will come and all the smaller shops will disappear. That would be a shame in a place like Oxford. So, with big names moving in and smaller local shops being driven out, will Oxford lose its characteristic charm? It's all down to the local shoppers. I'm Samuel Swinnerton with BrookesTV News.
Oxford City Council are making cuts to the school bus services. Sam Henton went to find out more.
Last year, the Oxford City Council announced that they had been handed the task of saving £64 million from the county's budget by the year 2018. This comes after a £96 million reduction in the council's grant from the government for the years 2010 to 2018. Since late last year, the council have been working hard to try to decide where these cuts are going to be made. Currently, key areas include transport services, general highway maintenance and adult social care. Recently though, protests have been made because the cuts to free home-to-school travel have been made final. This means that any student that might qualify for the free travel as of September 2015 might not receive it if they do not attend the nearest school to them. To find out how this will affect schools, parents and the children, I spoke to Kate Curtis, the head teacher at Wheatley Park School. When asked if these changes in policy are fair, Miss Curtis said the following.
I don't think it's entirely fair, and it's not particularly efficient either. I'm not even convinced they're going to save money. 25% of our students who would get transport won't anymore. Another consequence would be there will be more cars on the road. Parents will say, I do want my children to go to this school, but the £600 it might cost is too much, so I'll take them in my car. Yes, it will save the country quite a lot of money, but I seriously question how much they are saving. In fact, it could actually increase the costs. It's bad for the community, bad for the children, bad for the environment, to have more cars on the road, which is absolutely going to be a consequence of this. It's also a safety issue at school, because we have to manage how many cars there are dropping off students. It's much safer for kids to travel by bus. There are schools that might be closer. For example, Cheney is a lot closer for a lot of our students, but Cheney is full. Who would be paying for this expansion? Is this accounted into the so-called savings? It's not logical.
When asked whether it is the right area to be making budget savings, Miss Curtis concluded with the following.
I think it's a place to look, yes, there are anomalies. Of course, in principle, children should attend the nearest school, but leaving some schools underpopulated, of course, it doesn't make sense.
This is one of the first proposed savings to be made final by the council. We wait to see what is announced next. This is Sam Henton reporting for BrookesTV News.
A unique production of a steampunk opera takes place in town this week.
We sent Manuela Anthony to get an exclusive sneak peek during one of their rehearsals.
Students of Oxford University and Oxford Brookes have joined forces to produce The Dolls of New Albion, a musical written by American author Paul Shapiro. We interviewed one of the cast members to find out more about the musical.
Essentially it follows the storylines of 4 generations of the same family, the McAllister family, as they go through New Albion, which is a city. And essentially it's how the city changes around them and how their love lives are variously tortured.
We also asked about the concept and the history of the musical.
So Paul Shapiro, who is the author, produced this originally as a concept album, never intended to be staged traditionally, as part of one of his friend's projects on blind spectatorship. And this, he kind of wrote the album, put the music together, and then it was workshopped at the Oval Theatre in London in a sort of 9-day workshop process, and that's currently filmed and on the internet, as is the original album.
We asked what it was like for Oxford University students to collaborate with Brookes students.
It's really nice to actually get to branch out and meet a lot of different people who've had different experiences and who are all phenomenally talented. All the Brookes students we've had here have been so unbelievably enthusiastic, and it's been really nice to get to kind of freshen up the mix in a way of people.
We also asked other cast members how they felt about being a part of this musical.
So we basically decided that, well, if no one else is going to put it on, then
we'll do it. So we sat down and we planned what we were going to do, and then we emailed Paul Shapiro and told him we were going to do it. So.
And since then it's been a crazy process of doing things that we haven't really done before.
It's kind of amazing seeing everyone with such individual and disparate skill sets, because you have some wonderful dancers and some amazing singers, and it all kind of comes together and is just beautiful.
It was very sad because I thought that no one would ever put it on, and especially not near me. And then they did. So I'm really excited to actually be in this because it's one of my favourite shows.
I said, well, prog rock concept album. That's my favourite type of concept album. And it also span out from there.
The Dolls of New Albion will be performing from the 19th till the 22nd of February here at Corpus Christi College. Manuel Antoni, BrookesTV News.
Love is in the air this month with Valentine's Day just gone by. We sent Jos Swinnerton to see what the public make of this special day.
Every year, the 14th of February rolls around and couples across the country exchange gifts, flowers and go out for meals based on this romantic tradition. But are these heartfelt acts key to relationships? Or is it just another way for retailers to boost profits in the post-Christmas dip? Figures undoubtedly show that a huge amount of money is invested into the day. For example, $13.9 billion are spent around the world. The average spend for an individual in the UK is £119, and 61.8% of consumers worldwide celebrate the day. With these large figures in mind, we asked the public whether they thought Valentine's Day was romantic or just a commercial holiday.
It was created as a corporate cash-in, but there's no reason why it can't be nice to say that you like someone.
No, romantic.
It's a symbol of love, I would say.
So non-romantic, I would say.
I agree. Yeah, it's like for the marketing stuff. People buy a lot of stuff, so.
Well, I think Valentine's Day is very romantic, and I'm single, so I've never experienced Valentine's Day. But I guess you don't really have to be in a relationship when you have to celebrate Valentine's Day. So I think it's a very good concept.
We also asked whether romance was dead.
A little bit. No, definitely not.
I hope not.
No, not at all. You?
No.
So, with another year gone by and spending showing no signs of stopping, it would appear that Britain is still in love with Valentine's Day. I'm Jos Swinnerton with BrookesTV News.
Well, that's it for this half.
But join us later where we'll be speaking to Jos Swinnerton about his recent success at the Young Designer Awards.
And we'll be looking at some alternative sports in the UK. See you after the break. Welcome back to BrookesTV News. Earlier this week, Jos Swinnerton, winner of the Young Designer Awards 2014 for fashion, came in to talk to Layla about his recent victory on the catwalk.
Welcome to the show, Jos
Thank you for
Swinnerton.
having me.
It's an absolute pleasure to meet you. So you've just won the Young Designers Award 2014.
Yes, that's right. Just come from St Andrews last night. A very fantastic team to work with and very wonderful people as well.
Well, why do you think it's taken so long for menswear to win? Because that was your line, wasn't it?
Yes. Menswear has come quite strong actually in the past couple of years. Especially with London Collections men coming quite popular within the past few years as well. With brands like JW Anderson pushing androgyny, it's pushing into a standard where menswear can develop just as far as women's wear. So a lot more people have taken more interest.
Can you tell us a little bit about your line and what your inspirations were?
The actual brief was 1920s Bohemia. The book Vile Bodies are based on with the film Bright Young Things. So I took on the inspiration of 1920s silhouettes with Bohemian accent, so like a travelling kind of print and bright colours. So it's more of like a travelling gentleman from the 1920s era. So the whole collection, it all ties in as a collection, but each one can be individual as itself as well.
I see.
Yeah.
So do you have some concept sketches for us?
Yes, I have the original designs with me that were sent off to the competition. And they'll, yeah.
Could you show us some? Just hold it up for the camera.
So that's the first piece that got sent off as the headline, which got shot in St Andrews, which actually won me more votes before I got there than I thought I would. And it developed into further pieces using different colour palettes, keeping hold of the traditional...
The shoes, yeah, the shoes are awesome.
I get to keep the shoes, which is great. So like keeping a nice bright range of colours
It's still very clean cut, but
Yeah.
very, very bohemian too.
So keeping it traditional, but also quite exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And how were the other fashion lines as well? Were there like a little bit of...
They were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I couldn't fault any of them. They were really nice finalists as well, actually. It was, we were competitive, but also very helpful to each other as well.
And was there any like competitiveness as well?
Nothing hostile. Obviously, everyone felt quite on edge because it was the first time some of us met each other, but it was really tense.
Good atmosphere though, yeah. Right, and what do you plan to do with your prize? What did you win?
We won £1,000 and obviously exposure as well with like magazine write-ups and everything that follows really for a year. Like the previous winner actually started his own brand based in Hertfordshire. But I'm either going to put the money towards my graduate collection, which has been finished in the next few months, or buy myself a really nice Belstaff coat.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jos. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you once again.
It's a pleasure coming in.
And good luck for the future.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
From the 20s to the 50s, Dixieland Oxford Brookes' student-run decade night returned on the 13th of February. Beth and Evans went to see what all the fuss was about.
Dixieland 2 is the highly anticipated 1950s sequel of last year's 1920s themed evening. However, it's not all glitz and glamour. Earlier, during soundcheck, the president of the Brookes Sound and Light Society gave me his thoughts.
I think student events like this is great for different societies and student experience because, for example, my society, the Brookes Sound and Light Society, this is a great practical implementation of what we've been doing in our society.
I spoke to Carl Bennison and Sean Wright, two of the third years responsible for the evening.
So do you think the fact that it's student run is an incentive for other students to come to the event, or do you think they don't really care as long as it's a good night?
I hope so. I'd like to think so. I mean, that kind of student spirit, go Brookes, is not really part of our English culture. It's not like in America. So I'd like to think that we could try and inspire that by putting on events like this.
With the music, the bar and the hosts all ready, it looks like it's just time for the rest of us to get in character.
We asked guests how excited they were and if the fact it was student run made them more or less likely to attend.
More likely, definitely.
Yeah,
to support the other students. Yeah?
Yeah, I think more likely as well because I know there's a great couple of bands in there that obviously we hear about on campus and stuff that we can come and see in a student environment. It's pretty good.
Thoroughly looking forward to it. Some great acts, really good vibes and great people, and Brookes should be doing more of this.
More, definitely more. Just because of like the cheap drinks and like the events aimed at students, so.
More excited, yeah, because it's a uni thing and a lot more people kind of like the specific uni things, I think.
Probably more likely because it's a student-run event, so it's more fun for students and everyone turns up and has a good time.
Highlights included local artists, talented Brookes alumni, and current student bands.
With everything well and truly underway and everyone really getting into the swing of things, I think it's time for me to leave them to it. I'm Beth Evans for BrookesTV News.
Since Great Britain's success at the 2012 Olympics, there has been a number of alternative sports looking for inclusion.
Katie Freeman went to investigate one sport that is hoping to get the UK spinning into a frenzy.
Pole dancing is a form of performance art that has been a controversial topic for many years. Historically associated with strip clubs, supporters of pole fitness have been trying to change the public's perception by promoting it as a non-sexual form of exercise. We spoke to Nicola Galmi, owner and instructor of Dance Inspires, Oxford's first pole dancing school, to find out how she got into the sport.
Well, I was about 23 and I hadn't done any sport before, so I decided I knew someone who had opened a business and who had actually started doing pole dancing herself, so I decided to give it a go. I just wanted something a bit more fun, a bit more enjoyable than just running in the gym, and obviously I wanted to create and make friends as well, so it was the only option that was viable in my mind.
Rising in popularity, many competitions have become available for pole dancers to perform competitively. Nicola, who has recently won the Lincolnshire Pole Championships, talks about pole fitness becoming an Olympic sport.
It's it's moving with the times now. There is infrastructure in place. We've got the ISPF that's working towards building pole into the Olympics, which I think is great. So I do think it's a good thing, and I think it will really boost public opinion about pole.
The International Pole Dance Fitness Association acts as a supervisory body for the sport and is currently circulating petitions to get pole dancing into the 2016 Olympic Games. We spoke to Oxford residents to find out the local opinion on pole dancing becoming a future Olympic sport.
Well, I heard that chess is going to be an Olympic sport, and so that's not really a sport, is it? So I guess pole dancing could be, but at least that's physical.
I'm not sure about Olympic sport, but definitely a sport that's known in more places, but Olympic sport I think might be pushing it a bit.
I would actually, yes, definitely, because I don't think that there's that much difference between the parallel bars and a pole that's vertical in the air.
The first pole dancing studio to open in the world was in 1994. Since then, over 1,200 studios have been built, with over 180,000 dancers taking part. Even though the sport is practiced worldwide, the International Pole Dance Fitness Association still has its work cut out to see the sport appear in the next Olympic Games. Katie Freeman, BrookesTV.
And now, from the pole to the broomstick, a local Quidditch team have recently returned from Brussels after taking the European regionals by storm. Milo Bouquet headed down to the pitch to find out more.
Although many people have read the Harry Potter books, few realise Quidditch is played competitively around the world. And there's a feeling that most sportsmen and women overlook it because they think it's just for Harry Potter enthusiasts. However, Oxford University is known for its many weird and wonderful societies, with the Quidditch Society being founded in late 2011 by Angus Barry. Since then, Quidditch in Oxford has grown tremendously, with them hosting and winning the first British Cup in 2013. I went down to a blustery university parks to find out more.
The Oxford Quidditch Chimeras are a force to be reckoned with. They've just returned from winning the European regionals in Brussels. We spoke to their captain today to see what was next in store for the team.
In a couple of weeks we're hosting the world's biggest ever mercenary tournament in Oxford. So we've got about 160 players from all across the world are coming to Oxford to compete in mixed teams, basically like a fancy football league but for Quidditch. So that's what we're doing in the short term, and long term we're gonna grow and get bigger. In 3 years, we've gone from obscurity to European champions. So now I think the next step is get the sport recognised. We're about to apply to Sport England for recognition, which should be good.
Quidditch involves a mixture of rugby, dodgeball, wrestling and lacrosse, and is not to be taken lightly, as I found out when I took part and realised just how tough the sport is.
It's full contact, but you can't tackle above the neck, not below the knee, you can't tackle from behind, and you can't tackle a helpless receiver. So if someone jumps up in the air to catch the ball, you can't spear tackle them out of the air.
Perhaps the most interesting and athletic role on the pitch is that of the snitch, a neutral position which, if caught, results in the end of the game.
The snitch itself is actually a tennis ball in a sock coming out of their back pocket, and the seekers have to try and reach around the snitch runner, who's dressed in yellow and has his tennis ball. The seekers try and reach around him and grab the tennis ball for 30 points.
So they're not allowed to grab me. And if I,
but we can.
Yeah, so they're allowed to grab sort of torso and arms, but they're not allowed to grab whatever I'm wearing. If I hit the ground, then I'm immune for 3 seconds, which gives me a bit of a chance. So they can't just keep bowling me over and bundle me.
But it gets very physical. It's all about attacking.
But that's rules for them. As long as I'm not directly slapping them in the face, I'm pretty much allowed to do what I like.
Oxford Chimeras are sweeping Quidditch out of the shadows and into the spotlight, and are well on the way to getting Quidditch to be officially recognised as a sport. Milo Bouquet, BrookesTV.
So that's it for this show. Remember, you can view this episode and all the previous episodes online by going to the Oxford Brookes YouTube channel. I'm Layla Gorey.
And don't forget, you can email all your thoughts and questions to brookestv@brookes.ac.uk. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.